Hello! It is a great honor to be here with you today in the PIX4D User Conference 2021. It is certainly not the same being virtually than to actually sharing in person with you. However, I think this is a great chance to share all this knowledge and experience with users all around the world. So I think it's going to be great. So here we go. Today I'm going to talk about how we mapped more than 1 million solar models with PIX4D and how these tools and the project itself became such a great value for our clients. So let me introduce a little bit about the company and myself, and then we're going to go directly to the project. So we are AV3 AEROVISUAL. We are a small medium company here in Mexico. We have over 6 years of experience in the drone industry. We were founded in 2014 by my partners Eric and Joe, and we began as a hardware and service developing company, but then we are well established as a drone service providers for Mexico, Caribbean, and Central America. Within our achievements, we have the curiosity that in 2019 we won the first place of the EV Effect contest of SenseFly. And this actually was great because it helped the company grow and give a little bit of marketing pump, and it was great. And actually the relation that we established with SenseFly and also with PIX4D has really helped the company in the years to come. We are proud brand ambassadors of PIX4D. We also are country representatives for the International Society of Precision Agriculture. We have research partners with important institutions such as CIDESI, CONACYT, ITESM, UNAM, and ZEGEO that are research universities and research centers here in Mexico. We also have national and international partners, clients, and providers, and we have more than 350 drone implementation projects in our history. We have three main areas of service. We have the industrial solutions, geophysics exploration, and precision agriculture. But for today, I'm going to only focus on the industrial solutions area. And actually, I want to share a little bit of this throughout a video that we are going to present to you. So let's go.
En AV3 AEROVISUAL implementamos soluciones industriales de inspección y monitoreo aéreo utilizando drones, tecnologías geomáticas y ciencia de datos. Desde 2014 contamos con la mejor tecnología en aeronaves no tripuladas y sensores de precisión para entregar resultados de la más alta calidad y eficiencia. Optimiza tiempo y costos en tus proyectos de inspección, mantenimiento, control de riesgos y ventas como termografía aérea para plantas solares, torres y redes eléctricas, turbinas eólicas y otras instalaciones industriales. Fotogrametría de precisión para topografía, urbanismo y actualización de catastro, modelado 3D, volumetría para minas y proyectos de construcción, monitoreo de obra y deslindes. Experiencia y compromiso garantizando el mejor servicio al cliente del mercado. Nuestra flota está capacitada y respaldada con licencias y certificaciones para cualquier tipo de proyecto. Seremos un aliado importante en este mundo globalizado y competitivo, proporcionando tecnología, experiencia y seguridad para todos tus proyectos. Más inteligencia, más eficiencia y más control. Atrévete a volar con AV3 AEROVISUAL.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed it. So let me introduce myself. My name is Pedro Olivares and I'm General Director of AV3 AEROVISUAL. I have studies in business and data science from ITESM and Davis, California. Later on, within the company, I had a lot of experience within geomatics and also in precision agriculture. I am proud brand ambassador of PIX4D. I'm also country representative for the International Society of Precision Agriculture. I'm an aero thermographer, level 1. I'm a licensed RPA pilot, and as you already probably guessed, I'm passionate about drones, technology, and basically everything what I do here at AV3 AEROVISUAL. So let's go. Let me introduce the project to you. It's called Digital Twin of More Than 1 Million Solar Models, the Power of Photogrammetry. First of all, let me tell you a little bit about the drone industry, the global drone industry, and the drone industry perspective. Basically, we have this information by drone industry reports that in 2020 the drone industry was worth around $22.5 billion, and it's expected to grow up to $42.8 billion in just 5 years. So basically we're talking that the industry is going to double in growth in the short term, and this is really interesting to understand the importance of the industry. Also, it's interesting to understand how the industry is mapped in the terms that we have the hardware companies, the software companies, and the service companies. In this perspective, we are in the service area as a drone service provider. And also, let me share with you a little bit more about the solar renewable energy industry in Mexico and Latin America for you to understand a little bit the context. So for the Latin America region, we have that in 2020, 2021, we have a little bit more than 50 gigawatts of solar power installed. And the projected growth from 2021 to 2025 is basically up to 125 gigawatts of solar installations. We know that Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Argentina, and Mexico are the countries that have the most power of renewable energies and the potential projection of the industry. In Mexico, the projected installation for 2020-2021 is between 5 and 7 gigawatts, and the projection from 2021 to 2025 is up to 10 gigawatts. So we see that the demand for inspections is also going to grow, and this is why these kind of projects are real important. And I think it's really interesting for both users and clients to understand the power of PIX4D and the power of drone inspections. For the project, I'm going to divide it into 3 parts: data acquisition, photogrammetry processing with PIX4D, and the results. What is really important for this project especially is that the characteristics of the site and the client request was really something that was new for us in terms of the size and the precision that we needed to obtain. So basically we're talking that we needed to map between 750 to 1,000 hectares. And this meant more than 1 million solar models mapped at a centimetric precision. So this was really a challenge for us, and we were sure that PIX4D was the right tool since the very beginning. For this project, we used 2 approaches. The first is the aerial thermography inspection, and then we did the RGB photogrammetric mapping. So for the thermal inspection, we used the DJI Matrix 210 RTK with the Zenmuse X-T2 13mm camera. And for the RGB photogrammetric mapping, we used the Sensefly EBX with the Aeria X camera. It was really important to use ground control points, not only because of the size of the project, because also for the accuracy that we needed. So we trusted propeller arrow points, and it was a great decision because these worked great. We used propeller arrow points in many of our projects, and this time was a really good tool as well. We used also RTK real-time kinematics for both inspections. This also helped for the accuracy of the project. For the data acquisition in the part of thermal inspection, we used the parameters of 80% frontal, 30% lateral overlap with a 3 centimeters GSD, and we acquire over 96,000 radiometric images and 96,000 RGB images. The idea of the aerial thermography inspection in this case was not to do an orthomosaic because of the huge amount of data. It was going to be a little bit inefficient. In this case, we use the inspection for analyzing individual images and locating the anomalies within the images, and then using the images to locate each anomaly on the orthomap. So this was the idea of the project, to use the location of each anomaly on the RGB orthomap, and basically this is what we did. So after processing the thermal inspection, we went directly to performing all the anomaly reports and all the anomaly results. And once we had that, we went directly to use the data acquisition for the RGB orthomap. For this, we used the EBX on the Area X, as I mentioned before, and we used 80% frontal, 70% lateral overlap with a 2.5 GSD. We acquire 7,100 images in 7 flights. Basically, that was 1 day, 2 days flying, which is a really efficient time. And after the data acquisition, we went directly for the processing in PIX4D Mapper. Since the first step of the process, we knew that this was going to be a success, since we got really good information and really good feedback on the reports. We had great overlap, great key points. GCPs were really good correcting the process, and we had basically all the feedback from the reports of step 1, step 2. Basically everything said that the results were going to be perfect, and it was. Actually, we only needed to process the project 1 time, which was quite a surprise at the beginning, but of course that's the power of PIX4D, right? So since the very first time, we obtained a really good point cloud, a really good orthomap, and basically since the first time we used the results for the project. So this was one of the first achievements that we said, okay, we have a really good tool, we have a really good data, and the results are going to be great, which they were. Once we had the orthomap, we used the as-built layout of the site to match the orthomap with the as-built layout in order to be able to specifically pinpoint each of the anomalies at a module level, which was one of the critical points of the project. And this is what we did. And this is the result. We were able to map each of the anomalies at a module level. Here you can see some examples of how the client is able to see globally and individually each of the anomalies. And once we have all these, the project results were rounded up with an Excel table, basically showing the client the anomalies, the location, in which power block, the name of the file, the type of defect, the location, the reference to the site, and with the naming that the site had. So basically the maps, the anomalies, the reports, and the table were a huge value to our client, and actually it was a success how we presented all this information with the help of PIX4D. And at the end, basically we did a quick statistic analysis of the type of anomalies, the size of the anomalies per site, per module, per power block, and so on. And I think this pretty much sums up the process of the project. It is really interesting to see how different tools came up to sum into a really solid way of presenting a large project such as this one. And it is a real honor, as I mentioned at the beginning, to be able to share this with you. And I hope this really provides some feedback. And of course, we are there to answer any questions that you may have. Right now, we're going to go to a live Q&A. So see you there. But before I end, I also want to say that the future of the inspection industry is going to be really interesting, because we have these great tools and the tools to come. For example, we already have PIX4D Inspect to inspect telecommunication towers and all the 5G changes that are going to happen in the world. PIX4D is already there, you know, and it's really interesting to see how PIX4D is shaping the future of the inspection industry. So let's go to the Q&A. Once again, thank you very much for your attention. My name is Pedro Olivares from AV3 AEROVISUAL, and see you soon. Cheers.
Very good. That was fantastic, Pedro. Thanks for being here with us today. I guess it's amazing to me to see a project of that size and scale. I'll just start you off with one question. This sounded like your first project of this size. What was the biggest challenge that you had, and how did you overcome it?
Well, it was definitely something challenging to understand first how we are going to approach the project itself, right? So when the client presents the needs that they have, the first thing we need to understand is how are we going to be able to pinpoint each of the anomalies, right? And I think the main challenge was to plan how are we going to do that specific process between the thermal inspection and the photogrammetry, because it is a large project. And to be completely honest, we had a lot of problems with the weather in those months that we did. It was rainy, and we spent, if the project was planned for a couple of weeks, it came up to be almost double. So that was a challenge. But I have to say that the fact that we have a great orthomap really helped the whole processing to be much faster and much efficient than we thought it was going to be. So PIX4D really helped with this big challenge that we had.
Fantastic. Well, that again, very exciting to see. I have a question for you from James Portales. And James says, why did you use RTK and propeller arrow points? Aren't they redundant, or did you need both?
Well, that's a very good question. It comes up a lot actually in blogs, and I've talked about this in other conferences as well. I believe that technically they both help. I wouldn't say that it's redundant. The RTK will do its job by positioning the images and the drones in real time, and the GCPs will help to have a ground control while doing the processing in the mapper or matic. So in this project, the GCPs for me, in my perspective, are the absolute basic. I mean, we need the GCPs, and the RTK, if I would say that it's a bit extra just in case, I mean, it definitely helped, but I would say that it's not redundant per se. I mean, if you can use both, then use both, because you will have the precision of the RTK in the real time, and then you will have the post-processing with the GCP. So I wouldn't say it's redundant, but if I would need to choose one of them, I would definitely go for the GCPs.
Okay, very good. Well, now I guess we have time maybe for one more question.
Yeah.
I guess the question was that I would say is, you used Mapper as your primary processing tool. I think you showed Inspect at the end there in your presentation. Did you look at Matic and Inspect and other tools for these kind of projects?
Well, actually, it's interesting because after we did this project, PIX4D launched Matic and the other suite. And we did our first test for PIX4D Matic. We processed this very same project. We processed it on Matic, and we actually got really, really good results. Actually got a blog publication on our webpage talking specifically about the comparison between PIX4D, Mapper, and Matic with this same project. So yes, we did, and I have to say that Matic is a great tool. I would definitely say that PIX4D Mapper is still very, very powerful. It has this feeling of controlling the variables that still is very robust, but PIX4D Matic is a great tool to do quick and powerful processings for large projects especially. So yeah, definitely.
Very good. Well, I think that's all we have time for right now. Apologize, we're running a little behind schedule. So we will answer all the questions in the chat that we can. So we have quite a few more questions. And it was really interesting to see this. Amazing, what you brought to us and your use of PIX4D in Mexico. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you very much. Have a great afternoon.